Hi guys, I'm Ken, the Boring Fisherman, and that's Queen Hess. You all know and love Queen Hess. She's everybody's favorite. Anyway, Hester, you want to tell us how you got this item?
So I got this from one of the Reef Robbers Members Only giveaways. And I've been looking for a rod for it, and I have found one.
Papa. We played all kinds of trouble trying to find a two-piece rod because she wanted a two-piece, and it seems like everything that we could find locally was one piece, except for this guy. And I have this same rod that I already use, and I enjoy it. So she elected to get the same one. Let me go ahead and cut this tag off of it. Yeah. Shakespeare Excursion. Pure Fishing Inc. Pure Fishing. I think that's anyway. It's graphite, stainless steel guides, stainless inserts. Yeah. So it's a good setup. I have one. I have a little Shimano reel on it. The rod itself that I have handles awesomely. So I know that Hester's going to really enjoy this. The rod is, let's see if I can bap Hester in the face with it here, is 6'6", medium action, rated for 6 to 12 pound line. I'm not going to, well, I might. But it's kind of pretty, you know. We like the blue color, and I like how big the hook keeper is on it. I'm starting to get used to these split rod butts like this. I never used to have them this way, and then now I'm starting to like them. And it's soft, kind of grippy back there. Hester likes it. Don't put your reel on it. So while she's doing that, let me show you this. Bubba. Hester got me this hat yesterday while we were up at Academy. I will tag the Reef Robber in this video. I'll do the little @ symbol for him so he can see this. And you want me to put this on there so you can feel how it feels? So that's going to be a little bit heavier than my 1000. You should be able to catch some little bait fish with that, huh? Take that off before we stuff it into the ceiling.
Oh,
Is that the line you got picked out? That's
That's
the one
the
you want to
8
use? Yeah. Zebco Cajun 8-pound line. Got this on clearance today. This 330 yard spool of 8-pound red Cajun line we got for 50% off of $4.97. So we paid like $2.50 ish for this. So that's pretty cool. I haven't had red Cajun line in a long time. We're going to go ahead and spool it up. What did they do? Tape the thing inside?
mm-hmm.
Of course they did.
On the bottom.
Oh, it is. That's kind of weird. So they got this little groove in the bottom of the spool where the line goes in, and it kind of put like a little crimp. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but there's like a little crimp in the line. So I'm just gonna cut off that couple of inches of line and not have that little crimp on it. Hester, at this point, to put line on, I think that you should stand behind the camera so that we can do this in a straight line. Unless you want me to stand behind the camera
No.
and you spin the line on. So I don't know if you guys know how to put line on a spinning reel. I like to do it on the rod. Look, here's a pen. You can use a pen. But Hester and I have been doing this for a long time together. We've gotten fairly proficient at it. This line is red. It claims to be virtually invisible. And we got some really dirty, murky water around here. So
Tannic waters. So.
yeah, it's really tannic, really muddy all the time, all year. So I'm sure this will be just fine. I'm not a fluorocarbon purist. So I've got the end of the line here, and she's feeding it off of the spool for me. Let it spin. Let it spin.
I'm trying.
Okay. I'll center this up a little bit. So we're only using half of the rod. I'm going to stick this line through this guide, right? So that the line will come straight into the reel. You're going to open the bail, and that's how you're going to tie your knot. So I go around it twice, and then I basically just tie a fisherman's knot on it. Don't mind my mess down here. So I go around the spool twice, and then I'm just going to basically tie a fisherman's knot. Or an improved clinch knot, or whatever you call it. Why are you doing this to me? Thank you. I'd help if the drag wasn't maxed all the way down so this thing would turn for me. There we go. Basically, when you tie this, it's essentially like a slip knot. There we go. So now it's all the way tight. Now I'm just going to cut the tag end off. I'm probably covering this up so you can't see it. But now I'm just going to cut this tag end off. Like that. And then when I close the bail, the line goes through the guide. And don't mind my dogs. The neighbors exist, and so they think they have to bark at them. So now I'll just kind of hold a little bit of tension with my fingers up here on the line, and I'll just spool it on. And then Hester will also hold some tension on the spool back there. She's got a pin through the middle of it so that it'll spin the line off. And yep, just like that. Now this is 8-pound line. This reel says that it will hold 180 yards of 8-pound line.
About half.
So it should be about half of that spool of red Cajun. You can feel free to fast forward through this part if you'd like. Once in a while I gotta change fingers because it starts burning my fingers up here. As I didn't change fingers, I just changed where it was in my finger. Thing is you want the line as tight as you can get it at the bottom of the spool. You can let it get a little bit looser as it starts getting full, but you want it as tight as you can get it at the bottom so that you don't have your line doesn't dig in while you're fighting a fish or you set the hook or whatever.
Because then I'll snap.
Yeah, it'll just make a mess. And you also want it to have as much traction as you can get on the spool. This is like a textured spool in here, so that's pretty good. And we're going to go ahead and fill this reel all the way up.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a cramp.
Luckily now we just only have to do this once, so. It's that time of year the crap you're starting to move around a little bit. They're going to be spawning here
Next month, I think.
next month, I think it is, yeah. We should have some shad start moving in, so we should be able to start catching some shad as some bait for catfish. I've actually got a handful of limb lines that I've made up, so I'm going to try and do some limb lining this year. One of my co-workers, he's actually kind of like my boss. He's the safety and HR guy. He wants to take me out of town to this place that he knows where his friend owns some property and go and fish for like some big flatheads. Apparently they get pretty big, like 30, 40, 50 pounds. In another portion of the state, he wants to have me take him out there with my John boat because he's got like a 24-footer or something like that, and that's just too much boat for the water. So we're going to take my John boat, my little 1436. I'd like to put a new trailer under it before I make a run like that, though. Hester and I went and looked at some trailers earlier today. The trailer that's under my boat is too small for it, for one, and for two, there's no title or paperwork or any of that for tags, and I don't want to drive out of town without tags. I mean, I legally own the trailer. It came with the boat when I bought it when I got it. Yeah, I'm just about there. I think I'll get a little bit more line on there. Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to call that full. I think we could have squeezed a couple more revolutions on. Go ahead and stick that through that groove. You're going to have to lift that tape again.
I know.
And then we'll cut it off on that end and feed the line back through the rest of the rod. That Cajun line sure is cool looking, that bright red color. So this rod's red, white, and blue. I didn't realize that until we were already making this video. Did you get it through? Oh, you got another pair of scissors over there. All right.
Okay.
Cool. We'll just kind of cheat a little bit. Got it. Go ahead and feed this through the rest of these guides. Hester, what do you want to tie onto this first?
I don't know.
Okay. Set this down. Hester's coming back. I have the end of that line. Bring it here in front of the camera a little bit. Can you see that color? Nice and red. She's opening up the tackle box. One of the tackle boxes. Hey, it's a Hitch by Hitch sticker. Check that out. We got stickers all over our tackle boxes from all the people who we have stickers of. She's going to decide what she wants to tie on. And I am totally not going to influence her decision at all. It's her call. It's her stuff. Earl, I hope you're watching. That's that reel. Can't wait to see Hester go out there and set the hook on some little ditch pickles. Ditch gherkins. You're not thinking one of those, are you? No? Because it's fine if you are. I'll tie on whatever you want. Here before too long, it's going to be time for some chocolate milk. It's just now 4 o'clock. She has a lot to choose from. Stand by. She's still deciding. She has so far selected that she wants one of these. I think they're Bobby Garland Stroller 2.5 inch minnow hummingbird color. They're pretty.
Bobber.
You want to put it under a bobber? Do you want a sliding bobber?
I don't know.
Don't mind me. I'm just making the line squeak. All right, we're gonna find parts to put this together. Stand by.
On.
Come on, she says. She's trying to get a jig out of the box. Yeah, we're recording.
Okay.
So Hester has elected to put on this little Eagle Claw float, which is a sliding float. So it's gonna get the little rubber stoppers, and then we're gonna do a jig, white with red and black eyes, with the little Bobby Garland thing. Yep. So where'd the end of that line go? There it is. I found it. I think it's been in front of the camera the whole time. So we're going to use these little rubber stoppers here. Did you have to rip it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. She's over here making all this noise. So I'm going to take one of these. I know the camera probably doesn't show it, but there's like a loop of wire that goes through the little rubber piece, and you're going to stick your line, which I know you can't see because it's light. You're going to stick that line through that little wire loop. Okay, and then you're going to squeeze the little egg-shaped bobber stopper, and you're going to pull the wire out of it. And that's going to pull the line through, just like that, and put your bobber stopper on. Now I'm going to slide this one up the line a ways. Now at this point, we're going to use a bead. I got this little bag of beads. What is it, Lou's Rod and Reel?
Yep.
Here in Havelock. Really cool guy in there. It's a veteran-owned tackle shop. They got like Japanese food and stuff in there. They got everything you can imagine at pretty fair prices. He gave me this little bag of beads the other day. I went in there with my daughter. She always likes to get those little drinks with the marble that you pop in the top, because they sell those there. So we're going to take one of these little beads. Hester, do you care what color? No, she doesn't care what color. So we're going to take, I'm going to give her this green one. Close up my little bag of beads so I don't lose them because they're teeny little things. Okay, and then on the end of the line, so the first thing we have is that bobber stop. It's up the line. And then we're going to put this little bead on. So what this bead does is it's just like a little bumper that goes between the float and the bobber stop so that the float doesn't get stuck on the bobber stop. And then you take your line and you're just going to feed it through. There's a little hole that comes out the bottom. feed your line through, which is like threading a needle, but worse. There it goes. Now the line's through. Blink. So you got your bubber stop, your bead, then your line comes through the bottom, and then, because we're not fishing with like braid and then a mono leader with a swivel in between, and we're not putting an inline weight or anything inside, I'm going to put another one of these bobber stops below the float, same way as before. Put the line through the loop, and then you lift the little egg-shaped thing off of the wire, blink, and it just comes off of the wire, and you end up with a little piece of wire, and then your float's on there. And then I'm going to slide that up the line a little ways. These move up and down the line, but they're rubber, so they stop. Now, when you use those kind of floats, it crimps your wire or your line. The wire puts a crimp in your line because you fold it over, and so there's a couple of crimps here. So again, I'm going to go ahead and cut a couple inches off of that there. It's here on my table. It's not on the riverbank. It's not going to kill some bird, and it'll go in my garbage can. So now that we have this, so that this bobber is set up, see, I can grab the line, and it'll only go so far down. So if we snag and break off the jig, we keep the float, right? And then your stop is there, and then your jig will be floating under it, and this will keep your jig floating. Pretty simple stuff. This is a 1/16 ounce, who made it? Eagle Claw.
Yeah.
This is a 1/16 ounce Eagle Claw jig. Has the red colored hook on it. White with red eyes. And then I'm really simple, so I'm just going to tie another one of those cinch knots or whatever they're called. So I'll go ahead and show you how to do that rather than doing it here in my hands. Let's see if I can point this down a little bit. Okay, put that line right through the eye of the jig here. Boink. Okay. See that? So I've got about that much tag end, right? I'll pull a little bit more than that. And I'm going to pinch it so that the main line and the tag line kind of make a V. So there's a little gap in between. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. But then, holding that gap so that I'll have a hole later, I will work the tag end in circles around this main line. An old fishing guide by the name of Pat Abel taught me this knot. Okay, and then once you have it wrapped around 5 or 6 times, that little opening you were holding with your fingers, you're going to stick that tag end through that opening. The instructions for this knot are also on the back of the box, the back of the line box, wherever it went. It's this very same knot. This is a different spool, that's 12 pound, but same thing. I'm going to tip that back through that opening. So now it looks like this. Okay, I'm going to hold the tag end, pull the main line out straight, and go ahead and wet the knot. Just like that, so you don't burn the line. And then pull. And then now, something's gone wrong. There it goes. And your knot looks just like that. I'll go ahead and trim the tag end off again. Boink. And then she's already picked out one of these. One thing that I do with these plastics, big plastic, small plastic, it doesn't matter, is I will set it on the side of my jig so that I can figure out where on the lure, where on the plastic the hook is going to exit the body of the plastic. and then I'll remember where that spot is so that when I put it on the jig, I can make the hook exit at that spot. Which on this one there's actually a little spot in the plastic that I could see. And then when you push it up onto your jig, it looks like that.
That's cool.
And then as you bounce this thing around in the water, that tail's going to go crazy. The current's going to make it swim, all that stuff. And these Eagle Claw jigs, I just stuck myself with it a little bit ago, handling it already, but they're pretty sharp. And they seem to work pretty good. And I don't have enough line to go to the hook keeper. Down to the hook keeper. Stabbing the ceiling. And there it is. Esther's new rod with the reel that she won from the reef robber. Set up with a float. Ready to go catch some crappie. Here you go, hon. What do you think? Oh no. Quit, you.
I like the red against the orange on that.
Oh yeah, that kind of bronze color.
Yeah.
That turned out being real pretty. It's red, white, and blue. Pretty patriotic. I have a red and black reel on mine, so it's also red, white, and blue. What do you want? Quit it. You got anything else to add? No? Okay. All right, guys. That's going to conclude today's video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share me out. Subscribe if you haven't. Hopefully I'll be able to bring you guys some fishing content here pretty soon. Otherwise, stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time.